Alright, we're good to go.
Hello folks.
Hello everybody.
Hello. David, what was your intro? We were joking last week that you had an intro that you're gonna find our shirt.
What?
Yeah.
What was it? It was something about eating food and advice and
Oh god. No. I don't remember this really at all now,
I think
actually.
it was like, hi, I'm David. I eat questionable food and
maybe it didn't have anything. I think it was just questionable food.
Yeah,
why is it questionable?
you weren't around yesterday or last week.
I watched
when-
it, but I don't understand why there's questionable food.
Did you not hear me talk about eating like 2 or 3 day old pizza
That's
that
a
I've just been
terrible idea.
leaving out?
It was.
Yeah, that's a terrible
it was,
idea.
Oh yeah, I've eaten a lot of
Something.
horrible things.
You should just say I drink too many energy drinks.
But I won't admit to that. That's not gonna happen, not in the slightest.
But that's actually what you do.
anyways. Okay, so yeah, this week we're doing
Speaking of which,
Community of Gardens. So we have 3 pre-recorded like garden tours from our lovely friends around town that we're gonna watch and kind of like talk about them and talk about different methods. They kind of all have different sizes of home gardens, so we can kind of like look and compare and think like, oh, like I feel like it's like different levels and what different people with different space maybe could find accessible and implement in their own homes. So yeah, I think with that we're gonna start with a game.
I'm so excited for this.
I'm really excited because this is my first week where I'm on the playing against the game instead
I
of
love
like the
It's the better.
the
it's the better.
protected like facilitator into the game where I can just question you guys and not be questioning myself.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Alright.
sorry, I was just making sure that can you please put that on the charger?
I'm also really excited for the garden tours.
Oh, did I
feels
not
like a
plug
home.
the charger in? I didn't.
No, you didn't.
Could you please plug that in for me?
Yep.
I think we're ready for the game.
Okay, awesome.
This is the game.
Bam. There we go.
Wait, this isn't the
No.
No,
Into the actual.
Port into the fast charge
Into
port.
that
Yeah.
one. Oh, okay. Sorry.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Yeah, sorry. This is how I monitor things. Very unprofessionally.
Boom.
Very unprofessionally.
Okay. So this week's game, I've actually never even seen High School Musical, but I thought that what time is it? Planting time. That seemed like a good title.
that's cute.
I like it. That's very
So
nice,
we are going to be looking at different, like here I can move over. So the game is that you have two different plants that'll grow in Kansas and frequently are grown in like home gardens. And you have to decide which one will be planted earlier in the year. So yeah, is that clear?
The year starts in January, right? We're
The-
not doing like spring start.
Yes, the year
Okay.
starts in January.
January.
So
Making sure.
Is it okay if I just shotgun answer everything and just hope something lives? Just
You would
answer
just say that
everything and
all
then
of
everything
those
will live.
things can be planted,
yeah.
and that none of them have a staggered
Yeah.
date.
Yes. Just do whatever you want. And
That's what you did last week. You just
It's
say whatever you want.
That's actually a really good
I went very
strategy.
hungry last week.
it's like efficient or like wastefulness wise might not be, but like seeds. But like, you know what? You gotta figure out what's gonna grow.
They had to learn somehow.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
These first ones,
I'm nervous.
broccoli or cauliflower.
Oh man.
Broccoli or cauliflower? Wait, aren't broccoli and cauliflower basically the same plant?
That's what I would have thought.
I mean, you're actually not wrong, but one is more cold hardy than the other one.
Oh,
I
man.
started with the tricky
I'm
one.
gonna
Maybe I
guess
shouldn't
that
have.
you put. My brain keeps going back and forth.
I think the answer is cauliflower.
See, and I gotta go with broccoli.
Yeah,
it's
my
bitter. It's bitter that it gets planted in the winter.
I have
There
no.
it is.
My gut reaction is broccoli.
I'm going to be incorrect because I don't know.
Okay.
Wait,
don't
but I
think
just
you
went.
actually
I went.
know.
I
To
leaned
be
in.
fair, part of my brain is like maybe it's cauliflower because it's white like snow.
Oh.
So I'm pretty broccoli.
That would be evolutionary advantage. Maybe you can hide from this. So it is broccoli.
Yeah.
Yay.
Just barely. But yeah, it's slightly more cold hardy. So you can plant broccoli like one of the earliest things in the year. Yeah, and I've even last year we had cauliflower that kind of was like planted a little bit too late, and then it was just kept throughout the summer and hoping. And I wasn't there when fall came around, but they were like, maybe in fall it'll get cold again and it'll.
So when
Do its
would
thing.
you plant broccoli or cauliflower around here? Like,
I think it's basically like February. We could also look maybe at the end of the game. Have it pulled up already, like a map that's like all the different things, so we could like
oh yeah.
look at all
Yeah.
of
That'd
them
be
if we
cool.
wanted to.
Well done on that. It's a lot of work.
I mean, I didn't do it.
Whoever did it, well done.
Okay, so potatoes or sweet potatoes?
I don't know.
Potatoes. You planted those first at your house, so you either did it wrong or I'm right.
Do you ever actually plant potatoes, or do you just kind of throw them out into the compost heap and hope they grow?
Isn't that planting in a way?
Well, yeah, but just
I'm
saying,
going
this
to
is how we
say
did it.
if you put them in my cupboard, they grow at the same rate, which is what's happening right now in my downstairs cupboard. I have two sprouting potatoes. One's a potato and one's a sweet potato. So
I actually have a sprouting potato in my
Really?
car right now.
see,
Yeah.
look, so much to learn. I don't know. What are you gonna go with, David?
Oh, I'm gonna go with potatoes. I gotta go with regular, just potatoes.
Yeah.
Okay,
You don't have to be the odd. You don't have to be
You can
me.
do whatever
You
you
can
want.
go-
I'm gonna pick potatoes. That's what I think the answer is.
Yes, then you're all right.
Oh, good.
Potatoes, usually, what I've heard is like the general thing is you can plant them at St. Patty's Day, so
Huh.
March 17th.
Huh.
And then sweet potatoes are actually super not cold hardy. Like you really need to wait until they're like fully all of the after the last frost.
Huh.
So
They're sweet. They're dainty. They don't deal with that.
ain't about that. Yeah,
What's the next one?
we gotta find out.
Oh, oh no, this is gonna be hard, isn't it?
Those are carrots.
Oh.
Oh man. My guess is carrots.
I'm gonna also say carrots. I feel good about that.
And I was gonna go with tomatoes. Just yeah. All right. I don't know. I feel like frost kills every single one of these, but I feel like tomatoes need longer to grow, so you gotta plant them sooner.
Yeah, but I know you eat carrots earlier in the year, so yeah.
I feel like I always eat tomatoes in like July with my grandfather, and that's what I remember.
There you go.
With
Alright.
bacon. On a bacon.
Tomatoes
On a
and bacon.
BLT. On a BLT.
I thought you
It wasn't just like bacon in one
bacon.
hand,
well,
tomato
I mean, you
in the
can't eat
other.
bread, so it pretty
That's
much
fair.
is.
That's fair. I actually generally would wrap it in lettuce.
Okay.
And then I put avocado with it.
So you do
Yeah,
still
that
have the
sounds
BLT.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but you're right. You're right. It is a modified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But avocado's really good. Okay, that's all.
Okay, what one was it?
This one is carrots.
Dang it.
At least I'm pretty sure. But this one might be, I could totally see, like, you could definitely start tomato seeds really early in the year for an earlier harvest.
Or start them inside.
Yeah, start them inside is what I mean. Even before the carrots. But yeah, carrots will do okay in the cold, kind of, yeah. So,
Alrighty, cool beans.
It's alright, David.
it's gonna be
We've all
okay.
been in the
I'm
same-
gonna get a lot of them wrong.
Oh,
I'm
man.
just
We've been
gonna
in the
say
same
this
boats.
immediately. It's what I do.
Beets or eggplants?
Yeah, I literally don't have the answer to this one.
My guess is beets.
Why do you guess that?
There is a
Intuition?
no. There was like an end of the semester where me and a friend were gonna go and swim out to this island in the middle of Tuttle, and we were gonna garden for like the last month of school there. And so I looked to see like what would grow fast and what would grow, and it was like beets, radishes, and like carrots. And I think that they might work well on the beginning because they work well at the end. So that's my thought. But I also don't know.
I mean, I also feel like it's beets, but I have a better question. Which came first, the chicken or the eggplant?
Oh
Oh no, no one's answering
No,
that.
no,
No, don't respect that with an answer.
Eggplant, hands down.
god.
name probably.
All right.
I don't know. I feel like beets can probably survive anything because they're in the ground.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that.
Like they've kind of got the
They're-
protection
yeah.
from the ground. That would be the reason I picked that, but that does not mean it is correct.
No, that worked with the carrots too, because they're in
Yeah.
the ground. That's smart.
If it's in the ground, it can live longer because it's in the ground.
Well, radishes are in the ground, and I hope that's not like your next slide, but you can start this pretty early.
I don't.
Gave it away.
It's a-
Ruining this game, really. David, did you have a guess?
I was gonna go with beets.
Okay.
We've all
okay.
beat it.
Okay, so if it's eggplant, we're just gonna die.
It's beets.
Oh no, it's beets.
Okay.
I almost went to click to the there's no answer thing. Yeah, it's beets, which I hadn't thought of the in the ground thing.
It
but
keeps
I think
them
that's-
warm.
I think
Yeah.
that's completely right.
Well, the
Like
ground,
wombs.
it fluctuates less. Because
It's a
there's more
wo-
water in it, I guess.
wombed
Something like
ground.
Yeah. Well, it has to do with like the heat index, right? Of like air
Yeah.
change. Same with like water, where
Yeah.
like water takes much more heat into it to
Yeah.
actually change the temperature. Yeah. So an eggplant is pretty close to tomatoes as far as like after the frost.
Mm.
Because they're pretty. I mean, they're closely related. They're both nightshades. So
Ah,
Noted.
nightshades.
Gotta love that
the
nightshade.
the best.
The best shade.
Yeah. Okay. Swiss chard or peas?
Oh.
I don't know on this one.
Wait. Are we talking regular peas? Are we talking like sweet peas? Are we talking snap peas, snow peas?
Aren't there
Are they
winter
all the
peas?
same?
Aren't there
I think
technically called
they're
winter
technically
peas?
going to be the same. Yeah.
I think the peas are sooner because I know England. I think the Swiss chard grows. I don't know. I don't know the answer to this. England is a person, not a country. Which is
Not
always
good.
confusing.
I mean, the country England, they probably plant peas there too.
Yeah, and Swiss chard.
Yeah. But I don't know if you know about their specific
I feel like
cultivation.
I feel like she grows Swiss chard later in the year.
What if I have a cold frame? Can I cheat on this one and say I have a cold frame? And so I can plant Swiss chard in January and win.
You can do whatever you want.
It's a cold frame.
I have a cold frame.
What's the answer? Oh, David, what's your guess?
Oh yeah.
Oh, my bad. I'm gonna go with peas.
Yes, it is peas.
Hey.
Peas are actually like super early if you want them to be. And Swiss chard is also somewhat hardy because like it's a green,
Mhm.
but it's later. I want to say it's later in the year than other greens.
Mhm.
That's what's going on.
So cool.
Also, this picture of Swiss chard is weird to me.
It looks like
Yeah,
trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
Okay.
bent trees.
I mean, it's
It
fine.
is.
We know what it is.
It's fine. Not a biggie. Pumpkins or peppers?
Earlier,
Earlier.
Oh man,
these are hard.
these are hard. Like,
Pumpkins
I know-
or
Getting this one
peppers?
right.
Like I know what ones you eat earlier, but that hasn't consistently been the ones you.
yeah.
My guess is peppers. I'm gonna guess peppers.
Earlier in the
I
year.
gotta go with peppers too. I mean, I can't imagine you gotta plant pumpkins and then have them ready like 4 or 5 months in advance.
Well, yeah, but part of my brain's like pumpkins are really big, so they might just take a lot. I'm still gonna go with
They're
peppers.
not that much bigger than watermelons. We already have those.
I'm gonna go with pumpkins because I'm choosing pumpkins. I don't know why. They have thick skin. That's it. That's all I got.
Christian is right. It is pumpkins that get planted
That-
sooner.
This will not happen again. So let's just take a moment. Let's just take a moment.
Yeah, they're both like post frost. But yeah, pumpkins I think especially because they are so big, it just takes them a long time. It's like squash. You just plant them and wait.
Well, or melons like that too. You have to plant them really early.
All these things that we're learning.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that
This
was
is a
the
very
last one.
educational game.
That was so much
Yay.
fun.
Oh
Yeah.
wait, you need to show us the map.
Yeah, I can do that. Here it is.
I learned so much.
This is the Kansas Gardener Garden Guide, which, like, if people are looking for a resource, this is a really awesome resource and extension Kansas State thing, and it has, like, this is a whole book that's just for free online.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Do you want me to try and get that a little bigger on screen for you? So everyone can see it a little better?
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay.
It's cool. I'm trying not to look at the big screen.
Go to
Over
that.
my head.
Here, see my.
Yeah, my beautiful neck.
Yeah, they can hear us. They can't see us.
Screen share.
Thank you. Alright, there we
Okay.
go.
Hopefully that's like not too pixelated. Yeah, some things. See, this is broccoli, which is like halfway through March.
Oh, it's
These are
like the
super
first thing
early.
in.
Yeah, it is. And then also with the peas down here are also like one of the earliest things. Actually, probably
Even before broccoli.
even before broccoli.
Wow.
You can see potatoes are like at the end of March, St. Patty's Day. Here's the pumpkins, which is this is May. So pumpkins get put out pretty early, and peppers are. Admittedly, that one is like within it's like a few days later than pumpkins, but you can tell that pumpkins is like, hello, I've been here all year, and
Yeah.
you've just been waiting for me. Yeah, so I think that this is pretty cool. There's the chard. There's some things like the broccoli that is also a lot of spring plants can translate into fall plants also, just like they're just cold weather. But I think people generally with fall it's kind of hard because it's like you plant them and then it might get cold and then you don't even have a crop. So it's just finicky. But yeah.
It's so lovely. I enjoyed playing the game, and I'm excited to see the gardens.
Yes.
They're gonna be great.
Yeah, we'll go back to there.
Yeah. So that's it. Unless folks.
Good game.
Yay.
Yes, thank you, Mary. That's
I'll
fantastic.
stop sharing my screen.
I'm gonna leave it to you all to save the world one garden at a time.
I don't. How do I stop sharing my screen?
Oh, you just. I think hit that one.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, yeah, sorry, we've been experiencing a bit of issues because OBS decided to start backing up. And I thought we'd be okay, but I was wrong.
BS.
So nice of OBS.
OBS.
But it could be like OBS.
Requires an app for
Oh.
reset.
Oh.
Okay. Well, alright, sorry everyone, if the stream gets laggy every once in a while, I don't know how much I can prevent that.
Rip.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hopefully though, nope. Okay, that's not good. Do you want to hand me my phone real quick?
We're having technical difficulties.
No biggie. No biggie.
Rip. So you guys, if you can hear us clearly, just get to watch us eat chips.
And here I see chips too. Sorry about that.
Oh shit, I promised you a Sunday. Oops.
This Sunday?
Apparently so, yes.
Whoops.
Okay, yeah, so the audio's fine. They can hear us just fine, but
Fine.
in order for us to fix the cameras and to make sure it doesn't go down anymore, I would have to take us offline real quick. Are we okay going down for a few minutes and then popping back on? Yeah, because the videos might get up to a minute or two of just straight lag where you see nothing. So
That's gonna.
that has solved our issues. You want to hand me my phone, and then I will reset on there, and we'll see how it all plays.
I'm watching on my computer and it seems like it's flowing pretty well. It's actually pretty quick too. Boom, 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 boom.
Okay. That's great.
That's exciting.
There we go. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. All right, we should be good to go. All right, cool. So do we want to I mean, have we discussed what really we're doing during this whole stream, or did we just get right into the quiz game?
We did
Quiz
a
show.
little bit of
Yeah,
an
Game show.
intro.
yeah, we
English.
kind of, I did give a little bit of an intro that we're going to be showing some home gardens and then probably of different sizes and then discussing them. So, I mean, I feel like that's pretty, yeah, we kind of iterated that. So, they're all of different sizes. I think that it's important to show, like, you know, basically, like, how much land do you have, what can you use, your, the amount that you have, because, you know, one of them is really small, but I think that she utilizes what she can in a really great way. So, yeah, I mean, I think that we can start
Okay.
just showing them. I think that the first video, we can say this is Reagan and Tom's garden. They have a really great setup, and there's some kind of scratchy sounds. I think that I was holding my finger over the microphone, maybe, but it's you can still hear it, but there might just be some weird sounds, just as a warning.
Okay.
I don't think I noticed any weird sounds as much as I think it might be a little quiet. So you might have to turn your the stream up just a little bit in order to hear it properly, because I know it's a little quiet.
Good morning, ECM Instagram followers. My name is Reagan, and welcome to our garden. This is, here we are on Osage Street. We're currently garden sitting for some folks that are gone in Arizona and feel really fortunate to have this space to grow some food. Yeah, so just a couple of features that we were pretty excited about this year. As you can see, the garden is kind of transitioning from spring to summer. We had some spring things that we have been a little bit hesitant to let go of and turn on over to tomatoes and peppers and things like that. You can see I'm harvesting some peas, which we really love. It's nothing like some peas to remind you of springtime. Another thing that we're really excited about this year was we installed a drip irrigation system that works off of the rain barrels. So the rain barrels collect water from the roof, and then we have a system here that works well with low pressure that comes from just a rain barrel elevated a couple of feet off the ground, and that provides water to all of our garden here, and saves us a lot of time. So that's really been great. And yeah, some other things that we're kind of excited to try are, we come over here to our fruity tomatoes. Well, I think maybe if other folks have backyard gardens, you might be familiar with this, but we're really trying to get out as much as we can from this small space. So here we have some turnips and beets that we're still waiting to get out, and in the meantime we've planted peppers and tomatoes in between them. And actually over here in our tomatoes, we've planted some sweet potatoes in between the tomatoes. It's kind of an experiment. The hope is that the sweet potatoes would provide a little bit of ground cover and maybe shade out some weeds so that we have less weeding to do. So yeah, this is kind of the main area of the garden. And then we'll walk on out this way. We have a berry patch with some of our first raspberries ripening, and our asparagus patch. And one of the kind of fun things that I think about the asparagus, the asparagus is a little bit of a weird vegetable. It isn't like many other vegetables that you grow in the garden. And one thing that folks might not know is that it's actually pretty closely related to agave. And we have agave right here with this neighbor that is flowering. And you can see a little bit in the shape and of the flowering agave stalk how it looks a little bit similar to the asparagus. So, anyways, I just think that's cool, and I love that there's a side-by-side comparison. Yeah, and then finally here we have a strip of grass, and we've been kind of working on some ideas for how to try and make this a productive space in terms of food production, because right now it's just another thing that gets mowed. It's here on the south side of the sidewalk, so it gets a good amount of sun. And so we tried planting some Thai chilies as kind of a combination ornamental and edible, and we are hoping to later this year plant some pawpaws down, not where they'll shade the garden, but over there near the street sign, so they'll have the partial shade of the walnut tree and could also provide a little bit of edible landscaping here along the sidewalk where people pass by. So that's a little bit of the kind of projects and ideas that we are doing here. One of the things I really love about having a home garden is that not only can you just walk right out of your kitchen or off your back porch to get those last few ingredients that you might need for your dinner, but it's also like a fun space for creativity and just being outside. And so I don't know, we're just trying to grow some food and have some fun in the process. So hope you all have a great day, and thanks for joining me.
All right. So yeah, we're obviously having a bit of issues here, and not in the best of ways, unfortunately. All right. They're actually still they're still watching the video on the stream, and so we're experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties right now. So
I think that the video seemed to clear up towards the end of it, though. At least that was my impression, was that it got a bit faster, so...
yeah,
ooh.
yeah, I just don't know what the deal is. It shouldn't have this much issue. But yeah.
I think we can probably post videos to YouTube if you want to use them as a reference later, or if it was glitching right where she was showing like a really cool plant and you wanted to see it without the glitches, like we can provide that to folks pretty easily, as long as we get permission from the people.
Yeah, and I can upload those and put them on the YouTube. But I mean, we can try the next one and see what happens.
Yeah, this one's certainly much shorter, which might help.
Maybe let me muck around for just a second and see if I can't reduce the bit rate and see if I can't like make it a little bit better. If I can reduce the bit rate.
But while he's doing that, I mean, I think that if you could see it, some other really cool things, like their drip irrigation system, using rain barrels, that's a really cool element that they have in their gardens, where it's all passive. They have the drip irrigation, and we've pretty much at my house modeled our system after theirs, where you don't need a pump, you don't need any electricity, it's just gravity from and collecting in the rain barrel water, the rain, in the rain barrels, and then it'll take it downhill into the garden. And so that seems to be working really well in their garden, which is super cool. I think they have some, so one thing that we'll see in Lori's video, which is not the next video but the video after, is that like she incorporates a lot of perennials into her garden, which I think is really cool. And Reagan and Tom have, I would say, like a mix, like they have a lot of annuals, but they also have a lot of perennials. But I think because they're house sitting, it's more difficult to like plant perennials when you don't know if the homeowners will come back and want those.
I'm surprised they planted asparagus, 'cause from what I've heard that takes a little bit to get set up.
Yeah, a couple years. So I don't know if it was there before they moved in, or do you know that they planted it?
I don't know. Maybe they're planting it and they're like, we're gonna take walks down here and steal asparagus.
Yeah.
But that's definitely one that surprised me. What was the big blooming ones with the white flowers on top?
That's agave.
I didn't know you could plant that here.
Yes.
Huh.
I don't know if
yes.
it's necessarily like
Why you
you
gotta
can
be this way?
harvest it, but yeah,
It's
that
pretty
is-
at least.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's blooming all around town right now. There's plenty of it in certain places. But yeah,
Alright, well, I'm gonna try to do the next video. I don't think I can adjust bitrate while we're streaming, or at least I don't know how to. I'll admit that much. So I guess we'll go into the next video. Who's it from?
this one is from Judy Nicholson, who is a really awesome member of the Resiliency Coalition in town. And she's actually the house mom for Clovia, which is the 4-H Scholarship Women's House. So right now she's basically living in like a sorority house. So she has her own bedroom. So they don't really have, I mean, I think that she's talked about like trying to get them to convert some of the yard, but she doesn't really have access to anything other than like the patio where she's set up container gardens. So yeah, I think that she's utilized space really well and like planted a bunch of stuff in, but you'll see that in the video.
Yeah. I'm excited to see that because, like, where I was renting, like, that's all we had is like a little space in front of our door that we could put stuff. And it wasn't even like our designated space, but people would probably leave it alone. And that's about it.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So I'll change it over. We're good to go.
Because I really don't have a place to put a garden here at the house. So I just picked I got some plants from a local grower. They're like $2 a piece. That's pretty reasonable. And we had these pots floating around here. So, and I had actually had some good dirt that for composting and such. So I got started. I've got this. This is obviously tomato, and it's fruiting already, so I'm pretty excited about that. It's some kind of a red tomato. These guys I actually put 3 of them in here, so this is an experiment. We'll see if this works or not. But these are yellow brandywines, I believe. So, and I'm not a big tomato person, but I thought that would be fun to experiment with. And I love okra, so I've got like a whole bunch of okra plants. And they're doing they just kind of sat there for a really long time until I got warm. And now they're just bursting. And if you get really close, you can see that we've got some buds. And so we got there's bugs too. We have some baby okra. So I'm excited about that. I just put in some cucumbers and some squash, some zucchini, and so I don't know. It's all an experiment. We'll just play with it. I got a couple sorts of, I think it's peppermint or maybe spearmint that 3 of the 4 lived, and then I've had that rosemary plant for a couple of years, and it likes that side and side. And so I also have a couple of viney plants in there too. And the coolest though, this is great. I've got a bunch of purslane that just is volunteer, and I love purslane. It's one of my favorite vegetables, like salad vegetables. So I've got it in like all my pots. It just came out. So yeah, I mean, for me, for one person, and this will supply zucchini for me, as much as I want, when it starts to fruit. And the tomatoes are fun, and yeah, it's just a fun, and I just bring like 2 big pitchers of water out here every morning, and I get to talk to my plants and water them, and we just have a good time together. So that's it.
Okay.
Ooh, there we go. Alright. It is just not the best setup. I really need to work on all of this instead of trying to figure it out the day of. But hopefully the video on that one sounds a lot better. It didn't seem to have any issues.
Yeah, well, So,
There we go.
Sorry, there was a surprise. Ah.
Yeah, I actually started playing the third video.
Oh.
My bad.
That's okay.
See, I really like that one because it feels like it's pretty low maintenance, but it's still enough that you could go out and you would still have like a garden treat every once in a while. Like your tomatoes would come in and then you have garden tomatoes. Or her okra. Seems like it's her garden treat.
Yeah, yeah. And I like how, like, in the pots, like, I feel like she utilizes space really well, that it's, like, not just one tomato plant like you could, but she's putting, like, 3. And she says it's an experiment, but, like, the number of okra plants she has in there, like, I feel like that's really cool to just, like, really try to condense it and just see what happens. I feel like that's really cool.
If anyone's really interested in gardening in pots, I haven't read it, but a gardener who I really look up to, whose name is Carol Barta, who's both a librarian and a permaculture instructor. So I feel like a gardening book from her recommendation is pretty solid. But there was a book, it's called Permaculture in Pots, and it's like how to garden in pots, and it's on my list. And if you're interested, you might look around. I think the Manhattan Library actually has a pretty good permaculture section because of her, because she works there. It's pretty awesome. Would recommend.
Yeah.
But for your curious folks.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, what's the last one?
Okay, so the last one is from Lori Johnson, who is a political science professor and a good friend of mine, and she has I think her garden is pretty awesome. So she has a bunch of different stuff, and this year she added the whole like front yard bit that we'll look at, and so we'll just go through that. But this is probably the biggest of any of the gardens. Like I feel like a lot of her yard space and everything has been utilized really well.
Yeah,
So-
she has like a full backyard and front yard, like
Yeah.
like your standard like family home
Yeah.
setup.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We'll move it on.
Sorry. Okay. Go.
So, my name's Lori Johnson, and I've been gardening for a while, but I'm doing some things that are different this year. And one of the things that I'm doing is I seeded inside the house and then transplanted this perennial kale. So supposedly this is kale that will come up again in the next spring and hopefully come up every year and kind of be like an edible border. And I interspersed it with sorrel, which I just like, and that is a perennial that's worked in my yard before, but now I have a lot of it. There's more of it down there. And this over here might interest people. This is amaranth. This is a self-seeding plant that will basically seed itself everywhere. And so what I've decided to do, this is like the 3rd year, I've decided to basically just leave it alone where I want it to grow and otherwise pull it up. But it's also edible, plus it's pretty. It's got flowers that, you know, like look like flames, or like the kind of like Dr. Seuss plant. My goal is to, for a while now, has been to grow enough that I can preserve stuff for the winter time. And so when I get too much, I usually freeze it. This is a little strawberry bed. It's not bearing right now, but I got some good strawberries off of it earlier. And then I transplanted my rhubarb. That's a perennial, and it's growing in and around Swiss chard, which is just, why not, you know? For some work. This is a new little garden bed that I'm doing where I'm trying to use shady space as best I can. So I'm trying some bush beans in here, mustard greens, there's some carrots, and then down by the fence I'm trying to grow some Asian long beans, which hopefully will start growing up the fence. If they do, they make beans that can get this long.
And so like one bean could be like your entire meal. It's kind of cool. They love the heat, and one of the things I'm trying to do this year is just, reconcile with climate change to a certain extent and ask like what will actually grow in really heat and drought with minimal fuss, and like won't get a lot of bug damage. I'm not entirely convinced that's possible, but I think we need to think about what we can grow that won't fight nature as it currently is. So I've had this garden for a while, and the thing that's really growing in here well is raspberry bushes that are kind of like taking over the other bed, and I'm gonna let that happen. They really grow. Once they start to bear raspberries, they'll keep going for a couple months, and you can just keep picking them. Some herbs grow in here. I think that's spearmint. That's bloody dock over there. And then I'm growing some Italian dandelion, which isn't really a dandelion. It's I think it's a green related to chicory. So some of this is, my emphasis tends to be on perennials when I can, but I'm interspersing with other stuff. This is a cold frame that I've had for quite a while, and I plant in the fall some sort of green like spinach and get it going, and then I put there's another glass door, and I put the 2 glass doors down, and usually that green will overwinter. It just won't grow, but it'll be alive, and then in the spring I open that up. That's my first crop, and once that's done I pull that all out, and now I've reseeded it with, I think I've got probably kale. I can't remember what I did, but some sort of green again. Because in Kansas you can grow greens in the shade all summer long, but if you grow them in the sun, forget it, they're gonna die. So I had Swiss chard in here. I've got some cabbage, but once they're kind of done, like I did with this bed, I just tear them out, and then I'll probably put bush beans or something else that likes the heat, like okra, in there. Bush bean square. This is all divided up into squares. Back there are some pepper plants, which a neighbor gave me. And then this is my pride and joy here this is perennial arugula, and it tastes great. It self-seeds. Okay, so I'm gonna let it go to seed and flower, and then it will hopefully, seed itself into these squares, and beyond, but you just pull it up where you don't want it. It's really good. I got a few tomatoes, probably shouldn't. I can't grow tomatoes. Oh, and then over here, I'm trying gherkins. These are African cucumbers, and I'm thinking maybe they might get along better in the heat than our typical cucumbers. They're going to be real small, like about that big, and they're going to have spikes. So my thought was maybe they might be a little bit more tougher for the environment that we're in. So we'll see. That's an experiment. This is mugwort. This is a perennial that you harvest when it just starts to flower, and it is a herb that's good for vivid dreams, and that is for real. That really does work. So I really appreciate this because I get more REM sleep from taking mugwort. Let's see. About the only other thing to show is, over where the chickens are, there's a bed of Jerusalem artichokes, and then beyond that I've got some blackberries. I don't really like Jerusalem artichokes, but they grow up into these beautiful sunflowers, they look like sunflowers anyway, and I dig up some for the people in my life that like them. And then the chickens, once I cut the greenery down in the late fall and winter and in the early spring, they will dig in there and they will get a lot of the Jerusalem artichokes, and the bugs and stuff in there. So it all works out. I have that little cage there because when I feed the chickens scraps, table scraps, my dog wants to eat them too. So this is their little restaurant where I can put that and she can't get in. So I've got 6 chickens. They're very happy, well loved, or at least well taken care of. Most of them are okay. Maybe you might want to see a chicken coop. This used to be a big, well, it used to be my son's tree house, and then we took it down. For a while it was a dog house, and then after that it wasn't needed because my dog stays inside most of the time. We made it into a chicken coop, so it's a nice one, I think. It's got a couple of nests. They all sit on the one perch together. So they're happy, I think. So anyway, that's what I've got going on this year.
Ooh, okay, now we're back on.
Oh.
I'm a liar.
That was the last video, so we're kind of getting to the point where if you guys have questions that you should bombard us as much as you possibly can. And if you have a question for one of those specific people, and you send it to us, we can probably do our best to get in touch with them. They're very active in this community, so it probably wouldn't be too difficult. In the meantime, while you're desperately typing your questions, we're gonna point out that behind us, ta-da, is tables. 10 tables. 10 tables of clothes and miscellaneous items and just funness, all the funness. We're having a clothing swap here at DCM because we know everyone is cleaning out their closets during this time of home stuckness. And so if you're interested in that, this Friday and Saturday are drop-offs, and what you'll do is you'll sign up. We have like a Google Doc, it's on our Facebook. You'll sign up for a time so that it's only you in the building when you're dropping off, and you just come, you sort your clothes, and then you leave, and then you can sign up for a time to come and browse through everything, also using a Google Doc. And we're really excited. Donations haven't started yet, and we already have 10 tables worth, so like there's a bounty to sort through, and it's all really cool clothes. Like this that I'm wearing came off the table. We were having a little party beforehand.
This came off the table.
Just right off the table.
Yeah, as you can see, they stole all the good stuff already.
There won't be anything left by the time you guys come.
Now, is there a limitation on what people can bring? Are there things we need more than others? If you're like waffling about whether or not you should donate it.
So far it's been mostly we're looking for clothing, but if you have like kitchenware specifically, we're also thinking that would be helpful to people. In terms of clothing, literally any clothing other than underwear is kind of what we've decided. Yeah, you can keep that, but the rest of it and kitchenware.
Yeah, I definitely think we have like more like feminine women's clothing here, and I feel like it's important to say that like it doesn't have to just I feel like they always end up at clothing swaps end up mostly women's clothing, but like it doesn't have to be that way, and we're totally welcoming masculine clothes.
Currently we have no dude stuff here, but we also only have one dude who's technically participating, and even I'm not shopping at this point. So
we haven't even opened it up. It hasn't. This is what's on the table right now. So we had one person who was moving that was like, "Here, take my stuff," like a little beforehand. So this is like one person's worth of clothes donation.
But yeah, guys, if you got 1,200 T-shirts from your favorite sports team, bring them here. If you got 20 graphic tees that you can't bear yourself to watch, to wear anymore, right here. Bring them down. So I'm sure somebody will take them. Somebody loves that show you can't stand wearing anymore. So go for it.
We're pretty excited. So that's Friday and Saturday for drop off. We have a Google Doc. You can also contact us if that doesn't work, and then Sunday and Monday for browsing.
I realize we don't have. Well, I mean, I assume that. Well, no, I don't know. We don't have anybody yet signed up, but right now we only have enough time slot for what, about 12 people?
Yeah, if we get more people who are wanting to browse or drop off, we have room on either ends to expand that. And we really aren't in a time crunch. Like, we can keep this up until school starts without dying. That's not ideal, but like if we get 500 people wanting to go through our clothes, we can do that. We're flexible.
Alrighty. Dope. Let's see. No questions in the chat for the gardening, although I guess I do want to ask, what's kind of like I don't know, Mary, maybe you might be able to answer this. What's the optimal starting size for a garden? Like, you've no idea how things grow, you don't know what you really want. What's a really good starting size? Like, how many plants, maybe how many square foot, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that it really depends on a lot of things, like how much space you have available and stuff. I think that one thing that's important, that I find to be really important, is kind of like one of the permaculture elements is to like start small and build every year rather than being like I feel like even in my house we've done some pretty dramatic things just in one year completely, but it's really good to just like start small. I would even say, you know, if you had like one, maybe like even like a 4 by 10, 4 by 6 bed or space, and that's like if you really want to like really jump into it. I feel like also Judy's is a great example of like getting some containers, and then you don't even have to like rip out some of your lawn or whatever.
Yeah.
But something like that, and then I would say if you're gonna plant the first year, you might want to go for plants that are like easier to grow, or are like less difficult. So like I find, like I think that kale is pretty easy, like radishes, tomatoes will just grow. Like, I mean, I guess they can have some difficulties, but like everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people love tomatoes. So thinking about just like what's easy to grow, and then probably diversifying it a lot so that maybe you can plant, even in that small space, you can just have like a couple plants of a bunch of different things, and then you can find out like what works in this space, what doesn't work in this space, if you're thinking long term.
Yeah.
So that's my advice. Do you have any more advice?
My advice would also be to start small. I guess one of the things I think about is like every single plant you plant will have like a different plant time. It'll have like different needs, and it'll have like different like things you have to watch for. So you're like getting to know like a new friend, and so like don't try and make 100 friends at once. Like just pick a few, get to
Yeah.
know them well,
Yeah.
and then add a few more to your crew every little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
I'll also add on that, when it comes to the number of plants you think you want to grow, start a lot lower than you think you need. Like 3 tomato plants doesn't sound like a lot until you have far more tomatoes than you have any idea
yeah.
what to do with, which happens every year to my mother. Every year she plants like 6 tomato plants, and then we have like 5 more that grow up from the previous year because there are seeds in the ground. And then she's like, I have no idea what to do with all of these tomatoes. And she's just giving them away. Literally throwing them at people and hoping they stick just to get rid of them.
See, what you do is you make friends with the people that planted love and tomato plants.
Yeah.
It's true.
So yeah, especially when it comes to tomatoes, like start small, you'll probably end up with too much to start with. And if you don't, well, I mean, to plant more the next year, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, okay, same with peas. Peas are also another thing. Those things are just a pain in the butt to harvest. But that I'm getting off topic here, sort of.
We'll have to have a David rants about gardens episode.
Oh God, just have a David rants about everything. That stream would never end.
Oh my
Would
gosh.
literally go on for
I feel
hours
like
and
the
hours and hours
only
and hours.
vegetable I'd rant about is okra because it's such a pain in the butt to harvest, which is funny because Judy was like, I love okra!
I literally feel the same exact
But
way.
out at the
Oh
student
my.
farm, we have like, I think it's just like one big row of okra. But the leaves are so big and you have to like crawl up underneath these plants to see the okra. And even then, I feel like we miss half of them. And they're like the size of your arm before you find them.
Yeah, and I feel like okra, like I really don't like harvesting okra because of how scratchy it is, and like you just always walk away. And I feel like maybe other folks haven't, but like every time I've been involved in growing okra, like the bugs love it. Like specifically like aphids or thrips or something. Like I feel like they really attract a lot of bugs. So that's sad.
Yeah. I guess yeah, squash plants. Like plant squash at your own risk. I know every year we plant squash at the farm. They always come. There's certain squash bugs that just love to just go crazy. And then they'll work their way to the other plants, but if we plant squash, they're
Yeah,
coming.
they're coming. I feel like it'll be really interesting this year because we have so many chickens. I'm really looking forward to
Oh,
trying to
them
feed
eating them.
all of the squash
Can you
bugs
like
to
give
them.
them like a taste for it? Like smash a couple that you like grab and like feed it to them,
Yeah.
and then they're like, ooh, squash bugs.
Mm.
I feel like they're just tiny little dinosaurs. They're gonna figure it out anyway.
They're gonna be.
Yeah,
It's funny.
they are.
My dad used to feed. We had like this baby pond in our patio area, and he used to feed them bloodworms so that they'd get a taste for mosquito larvae.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's odd. I like it.
I've never heard of that. That's
And
wild.
we didn't have a problem with mosquitoes, so
There we go.
there, bloodworms.
There you know what to do next. All right. I don't know. Any other questions about gardening? Any other hints, tips, tricks?
We
Yeah.
haven't had anything pop up in the chat, so we can probably go ahead and talk about what we're doing next week, and then if anything pops up, we can address them. And peace out.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. I think right now our plans for next week is more along the lines of gardening as well,
Yeah.
and it's garden DIY such.
Kind of like more the hands-on how-to end of it, opposed to like this is like your inspiration week, and then next week we'll let you dive in.
I like it.
Yeah. We also, of course, have Real Food Live this Thursday, 6 p.m. And we're going to be making pitas with homemade falafel. We're going to get up the Lebanese pickles I made a couple weeks ago.
Dude,
It's
I
gonna
want to
be
try
That
this
sounds
so
good.
bad.
So good.
We have to make
homemade-
hummus to go with it too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. We have plenty of dried chickpeas, so we will make.
We have a ton of frozen chickpeas. Let's use those.
Well, yes.
Can we? Can we?
That's
Yeah.
not what the guy at the restaurant said though.
Yeah, that's not how the Lebanese guy that we met made hummus.
I'm just trying to clear out our freezer, you know.
I know, yeah. Well, we'll probably use those chickpeas for like in the pitas, I would assume. But anyways, yeah. So definitely don't want to miss that. And if you want to fill out the form to get the meals, that's still running. You can still totally do that. And yeah, I'll drop off a bag for you so you can join and follow along.
Yeah. Let me throw up that form in chat real quick, just so people have it.
Yeah.
I have no idea where.
If you're looking for things like this and you're like, oh, they mentioned it on the stream, where can I find it? All of this is on our website, the ECM at K-State website. If you just Google ECM at K-State, you'll find us. And then if you go under programs, Real Food Live has everything for Real Food Live. I don't think we actually have a tab for this program yet, so that might need to be made, but
just
that's a helpful resource.
I cannot. Okay. Oh, it's. First of all, can you hit exclamation point ECM? Oh, all lowercase. Wait, is that caps lock? There we go.
Boom.
That will get you the link to
That's our website.
the website.
Yay.
And then do ! request. And that's a link to the request form for cooking.
Great.
Boom.
We never use these. We never use those links. Like,
No,
I
we
feel
don't
like now
use
is a good time to use them.
Yeah.
One day. One day. Probably by the time that we're all in person again and we don't need to talk to a screen to interact with humans, we'll
Indeed.
figure it out. But until then, we shall
Oh my
try.
god. I look like I got boobs on screen.
Oh my god, David.
I know, ain't it great?
Do you want to get the real ones? You know?
Oh God. Suffice it to say, if you come to the clothing swap and you look around, you're gonna find some choice items, which will be a little funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be good advertising. Like, we have some choice items, and people will be like, "But what?" And we'll be like, "We have to
Choice
come
items.
browse to find out."
I mean, we technically do have quite a few choice items. A lot of this clothing, well, I say a lot, but a few of these items at least are completely unworn.
At least
Like,
10%.
they still have the tags on
At
them.
least 10%, yeah. Still
Yeah.
has the tags on it.
I mean, yeah, if you're looking for brand new stuff that, maybe wasn't made this year, but certainly hasn't been worn, now's the time, right here.
Yeah, there's some really nice stuff. And a lot of like business professional.
Yeah. Like, it's solid clothes.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay.
Nothing's popped up in the chat, so I think until next week.
All right. Well, have a great night, everyone.
Bye guys.
Boom.
Oh, there we go.